Imagine a ship so mysterious that it vanished twice, once into the depths of the Great Lakes and once into the pages of history, only to reappear more than 3 centuries later with a secret no one expected. This is the unbelievable but true story of Le Griffon, the first sailing ship ever built on the Great Lakes, and perhaps the most haunting maritime mystery in early American history. In the summer of 1679, a French explorer named René Robert Cavelier, Sieur de la Salle, set out to do something no European had ever attempted before: open a direct trade route from the Great Lakes to the Gulf of Mexico. His dream was bold, some said foolish, but La Salle was a man of impossible ambitions. To achieve his plan, he needed a ship big enough to carry tons of valuable furs through waters previously traveled only by canoes. So deep in the wilderness of what is now upstate New York, his crew began constructing a 45-ton sailing vessel. Native people watched with awe as the wooden frame rose from the forest floor. French priests blessed the beams, soldiers stood guard. When it was finished, La Salle proudly named it Le Griffon, the Griffon, after a mythical beast that symbolized power and fortune. On August 7, 1679, Le Griffon set sail into Lake Erie, the first of the Great Lakes the ship would conquer. Its sails billowed like wings, and the sight stunned every indigenous nation along the shore. None had ever seen a vessel so large floating on fresh water. As the ship moved through Lake Huron and into Lake Michigan, La Salle believed his destiny was unfolding exactly as planned. The crew loaded the ship with precious furs, thousands of pelts worth a fortune in France. Then La Salle made the decision that would seal the ship's fate. He sent Le Griffon back east to deliver the cargo, while he continued exploring westward. The ship departed on September 18, 1679, under the command of a pilot named Luc de la Salle, no relation to the explorer. The weather was calm. The mission seemed simple. But as soon as the ship disappeared beyond the horizon, no one ever saw it again. For more than 300 years, historians, divers, treasure hunters, and indigenous storytellers all argued about what happened next. Some said a violent storm swallowed the ship whole. Others believed rival traders destroyed it out of jealousy. A few insisted the crew mutinied, murdered everyone on board, and escaped into the wilderness with the treasure. There were even legends of the ship sailing eternally beneath the water, its form appearing as a ghostly silhouette during storms. But there was one detail that made the mystery even stranger. Not a single piece of wreckage ever washed ashore, despite the Great Lakes claiming thousands of ships over the centuries. It was as if Le Griffon had been erased from existence. Then, in 2014, a pair of American explorers claimed they had finally found it. At the bottom of Lake Michigan, partly buried in sand, they discovered a wooden beam rising from the lake bed. Photos showed what looked like the bowsprit of a 17th century French ship. Excitement surged across the United States. Could this be the first European ship ever built on the Great Lakes? Could one of North America's oldest mysteries finally be solved? But the truth took an even stranger turn. When archaeologists examined the beam in 2016, they made a conclusion no one expected. It wasn't part of a ship at all. It was the stump of an old tree. The wreck that electrified the world turned out to be a simple piece of driftwood. Still, other clues began surfacing. Fishermen reported pulling up ancient wooden fragments tangled in their nets. A sonar scan hinted at a rectangular object deep under sand near Washington Island. In 2018, one diver described seeing the outline of a hull but was forced to the surface by dangerous currents. Nothing was ever proven, yet nothing was fully dismissed either. Today, Le Griffon remains one of America's oldest unsolved shipwreck mysteries. Not just because the ship vanished, but because it vanished perfectly, leaving behind no confirmed debris, no bodies, no cargo, no answers. Historians call it the Great Lakes Bermuda Triangle, and even modern technology has failed to close the case. The United States has documented more shipwrecks in the Great Lakes than almost anywhere else in the world, but the very first ship to sail them is still missing. Some believe the wreck lies buried under centuries of shifting sand, untouched and waiting. Others think it may have broken apart and drifted into deep trenches where no diver can reach. And then there are those who insist the ship never sank at all, that the crew fled with the furs and burned the vessel to hide their tracks. Whatever the truth is, the mystery of Le Griffon endures because it is more than just a shipwreck. It is the story of ambition, exploration, greed, betrayal, and the vast, unpredictable power of the Great Lakes. It reminds us that even in a world mapped by satellites and scanned by robots, there are still secrets lying quietly beneath the water, waiting, patient, and untouched since the dawn of American history. And perhaps someday, when the waves shift just right, the Griffon will finally rise from its forgotten grave and tell us what really happened on that fateful September day in 1679.